If you thought you'd seen it all, think again. These 25 upcoming horror games don't just scare you, they crawl under your skin, haunt your thoughts, and linger long after the screen goes dark. Welcome to a nightmare you won't wake up from. This is the dark side of gaming, and it's only getting worse.
Please know that you are my hope.
Everyone's gone.
Welcome to Frozen Madness. Displacement throws you into a chilling first-person survival horror set in an isolated polar research station, where your greatest enemies aren't just the icy winds and creaking walls, but your own mind. You play as a psychologist slowly unraveling as the rest of the crew descends into psychological chaos. Heat is your lifeline. Run out, and death creeps in. Every step through frostbitten corridors feels like a battle for sanity, and the game's cinematic visuals only heighten the suffocating dread. With a unique body temperature mechanic, atmospheric immersion, and a story soaked in paranoia, this game is currently in alpha and hunting for funding. If all goes well, it aims for a 2026 release on PC. Consoles may come later, depending on publisher support.
Shit. Pray for us sinners, now and at the hour of our death. Amen. Oh, how can't you see that? You don't get it.
The Xenomorph Nightmare returns, this time without the headset. Originally a VR-exclusive thrill ride, Alien Rogue Incursion is getting a full flat-screen overhaul. You play as ex-Marine Zula Hendricks, infiltrating a Xeno-infested facility on planet LV-354 alongside your synthetic partner Davis-01, and now it's even deadlier. The new Evolved Edition brings smarter AI, enhanced visuals, and haptic feedback on PS5, plus smooth 60 FPS gameplay. It's a raw survival horror packed with cinematic tension and brutal ambushes. The game launches September 30th, 2025 for PS5 and PC, with a $30 standard edition and $40 deluxe upgrade. This is no simple port, it's a full reinvention of fear.
Every last one of them.
From the minds behind Rockstar and Star Citizen comes a surreal horror soaked in Lovecraftian mystery. Ritual Tides awakens you on a desolate, wind-lashed British island where cults thrive, time fractures, and the line between memory and madness blurs. The world looks like a living pencil sketch. Distorted, elegant, terrifying. You'll face grotesque creatures and haunting narration as you explore cultist ruins and uncover buried truths. First teased in 2024, the game was officially unveiled during the 2025 Future Games Show and is confirmed for PC and consoles. Gameplay is still shrouded in mystery, but expect slow-burning tension, storytelling through eerie environments, and dread that lingers long after you stop playing. A full gameplay reveal is expected later this August.
Faithful ones, the garden must still be tended. And tonight, you will be sown!
Imagine a quiet Hungarian village where time seems frozen, until it isn't. Chordosis is a solo-developed cosmic horror adventure that places you in the shoes of Sadie, a woman searching for her missing twin in the isolated town of Dunahant. But the truth lies somewhere between alien abduction, ancient terror, and fractured reality. You'll solve physics-based puzzles, explore unsettling environments, and descend into madness, all powered by eerie soundscapes and surreal design. Released quietly on itch.io in 2023, the game's second episode, At It, is in development with no date set. It's slow, deliberate, and deeply personal, made by one person in total creative solitude. Steam and Epic versions are planned, but for now, the Founders Edition on itch is the only path forward. Beneath the crushing weight of the ocean, a mystery sleeps. In dark mass, you dive into a long-forgotten shipwreck, only to discover an untouched manor deep beneath the waves. You play as Alice, a deep-sea explorer, alongside your brother Reed, as you step into this submerged nightmare. But the mansion isn't abandoned. It's haunted by something ancient. Inside, you'll face psychological horrors, twisted puzzles drawn from real torture history, and moral choices that ripple through the story. This isn't just a haunted house, it's a claustrophobic descent into the unknown, where pressure and paranoia fight for your soul. Coming to PS5, Xbox Series, and PC, Dark Mass is poised to be a haunting experience like no other.
What was that? I think I'm not alone down here.
Welcome to the most deranged nightmare imaginable, where primal fear meets precision under pressure. In Shark Dentist, you're not a hero, not a soldier, but a dentist. Alone in a damp, flickering basement clinic, faced with sedated but very much alive sharks strapped to rusty tables. Every moment is a grotesque ballet of survival, juggling anesthesia levels, heart rate monitors, oxygen flow, and pulsing pain meters, all while wielding tools that should never be near a living creature: drills, pliers, circular saws. One mistake, one misstep, and you're shredded to pieces. With randomized procedures, escalating horrors, and darkly comic overtones, the game spirals into a roguelike chaos echoing buckshot roulette and warped childhood memories of the crocodile dentist toy. Beneath the humming fluorescence and soulless pop music of a rural 24-hour convenience store lies something much darker than missing stock or rude customers. Hellmart turns the ordinary into a mounting psychological terror, dropping you into the shoes of a graveyard shift clerk trying to survive both retail expectations and unspeakable horrors. By day, you stock shelves, sweep aisles, meet sales quotas. But as night falls, the doors start rattling, shadows shift in the aisles, and something, not quite human, tries to get inside. Barricade doors, monitor cameras, ration supplies, and prey. The cold isolation of the North bites harder when it's not the weather you're hiding from. This is not just a shift, it's a siege. With dynamic scare systems, ever-changing threats, and moral decisions that could mean life or death for those outside, Hellmart is shaping up to be a standout horror sim when it launches on PC later in 2025. For the first time ever, Hellraiser gets a true video game adaptation, and it's exactly as grotesque and magnificent as you'd hope. In Clive Barker's Hellraiser Revival, you step into the skin of Aiden, a tortured soul dragged into the labyrinth after his girlfriend Sunny is taken by the Cenobites. With the Genesis configuration puzzle box in hand, you're caught between salvation and damnation, hunted by twisted cults, tortured by infernal magic, and stalked by Pinhead himself, voiced once again by the legendary Doug Bradley. The game's visuals are dripping with decadent horror, blood-slick architecture, and unspeakable rituals. Brutal melee combat collides with dark abilities that channel agony into power. Blending found-footage horror with survival simulation, Horror Tales Eats the World traps you in eerily real spaces where every breath could give you away. Armed with just a body cam, a flashlight, and your own shaky nerve, you'll creep through decaying environments haunted by cryptic audio logs, buried secrets, and horrors that respond to your microphone. Yes, it hears your voice. The scares are unscripted, the tension unrelenting, and the world photorealistic enough to feel like something you shouldn't be playing alone at night. It's being built piece by piece in early access for PC. Beneath the mirrored stillness of a remote Brazilian lake lies something ancient, something waiting. In Drowned Lake, you step into a survival horror odyssey wrapped in folklore, mystery, and dread-soaked atmosphere. It begins with the disappearance of a young documentarian. What follows is the convergence of three strangers, each drawn to the lake by fate, each swallowed by its secrets. The gameplay blends eerie exploration, slow-burn puzzle solving, and an unsettling fishing mechanic that's far more dangerous than it sounds. The forests whisper, the water stirs, and the truth drips in fragments, never fully revealed, only hinted through local myths and ghastly sights. Launching on PC in the second half of 2024, this is less a horror game and more a cursed story you must survive. Step away from the familiar fog of Silent Hill and into a new kind of terror. Silent Hill F transports us to 1960s rural Japan, where fragile beauty masks decaying nightmares. You play as Hinako Shimizu, a young schoolgirl battling both internal trauma and an external world collapsing under otherworldly rot. Penned by Higurashi creator Ryukishi07 and scored by the haunting genius Akira Yamaoka, this chapter is drenched in psychological horror and surreal dread. No longer just a town, the setting becomes a living force, growing, mutating, corrupting. Combat trades in quiet exploration for desperate melee brawls, weapon degradation, shrine-powered abilities, and a sanity meter that punishes every reckless decision. With 5 endings, New Game Plus, and a narrative that cuts like a scalpel, this could be the most emotionally scarring Silent Hill yet. Imagine Silent Hill and David Fincher had a fever dream, and then trapped you inside it. Bleak Haven is a solo-developed survival horror dripping with grime, loss, and psychological rot. The setting: a forgotten town where decaying streets twist into underground crypts, abandoned hospitals, and unholy tunnels. The enemies: malformed humanoid nightmares born from anguish. Every strike with your scarce melee weapons feels desperate. Every bullet a life-or-death decision. Puzzles are not just mechanical, they're narrative, haunting, and sometimes painful. The developer updates constantly, refining AI, deepening lore, and crafting new scares. Still in demo phase on itch.io, but already radiating the DNA of a future cult classic. The horror that started it all returns with a new face, new fears, and the most ambitious vision yet. Resident Evil 9. Requiem casts you as FBI analyst Grace Ashcroft, called back to the ruins of Raccoon City to investigate a brutal string of killings linked to her own family's shadowy history. Set 30 years after the original outbreak, this chapter redefines tension with a hybrid perspective system. Switch fluidly between third and first person as the terror demands. You'll encounter sentient mutations, clever puzzles, and chase sequences that don't let up. Built in the RE engine, the visuals are near photoreal, the atmosphere oppressive, and the scares deeply human. A demo is already locked for Gamescom 2025, but the full game promises to be the emotional and terrifying crescendo fans have waited for.
Please know that you are my hope.
Everyone's gone.
Stay away from that!
In the Twilight Project, terror wears a new cultural mask. Set in a desolate Thai village, this indie survival horror experience combines Southeast Asian myth with Western survival mechanics to chilling effect. You're a lost tourist who stumbles into a village that shifts with the rising and setting sun. By daylight, you scavenge for food, set traps, and explore. But at night, the village mutates. Walls dissolve, shadows move, and creatures older than memory claw their way into reality. It's a game of preparation and panic, forcing you to make hard decisions about where to hide, what to burn, and whether to open that creaking door. Inspired by Resident Evil and Silent Hill, this project replaces jump scares with creeping existential dread, a hidden gem in the making. From the minds behind Little Nightmares, Reanimal hurls you into a surreal and disturbing journey through a world where grotesque living animals have replaced reality. A brother and sister, your only hope, must navigate this twisted version of home, relying on clever environmental puzzles and synchronized teamwork, both solo and in co-op. Each area, filled with portals, boats, and branching routes, offers haunting visuals and spine-tingling moments, transforming innocence into terror. With support for PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X PC, and Switch 2, it promises an unforgettable, nightmarish adventure. In the cold silence of deep space, death isn't the end. It's a turning point. Directive 8020, the next chapter in the Dark Pictures anthology, strands you on the alien world of Tau Ceti F, where a shape-shifting nightmare stalks the crew of a doomed expedition. A new turning point system lets you rewind time, but every decision, every step, could still be your last. Stealth becomes survival, and survival becomes sacrifice, in a story where any character can die at any moment. Launching in early 2026, it's a chilling evolution of interactive sci-fi horror.
Subject unidentifiable.
We need urgent assistance. Please. Help us.
A dungeon-crawling horror RPG with a pulse. Lurks Within Walls combines grid-based movement, brutal turn-based combat, and psychological dread into one grotesque experience. You explore a crumbling asylum filled with malformed horrors straight out of Trevor Henderson's nightmares, using every move and resource sparingly. Each encounter is strategic, terrifying, and richly atmospheric. Already making waves with its demo, the game has captured attention for its unnerving art direction, smart pacing, and spine-tingling storytelling. It's horror by design, methodical, merciless, and unforgettable. The mind of Hideo Kojima meets the fear-sculpting genius of Jordan Peele in OD, a game unlike anything before it. Built in Unreal Engine 5 with metahuman fidelity, it's less a game and more a psychological experiment, testing how much fear you can actually endure. Photorealistic stars like Sophia Lillis and Udo Kier walk a tightrope between cinema and chaos as the lines between story and player blur. Kojima calls it media beyond definition, where dread is personal, evolving, and all-consuming. It's not just horror, it's an overdose of it. In Shiver, the storm didn't just bring snow, it brought something else. You play as Hannah, trekking through her frozen hometown, searching for her sister after a brutal blizzard cuts off all communication. But as the cold deepens, reality begins to warp. Streets shift, familiar places twist, and something ancient lurks beneath the ice. Armed with only a flashlight, your wits, and your resolve, you'll solve environmental puzzles, scavenge for supplies, and face monsters born of frost and fear. It's an emotional, atmospheric descent into an apocalyptic whiteout where every breath might be your last. Deep in the Venezuelan mountains lies a cursed estate, and within it, generations of agony. In Animas, a first-person psychological horror by Apamate Studio, you explore the Blanca family mansion, an echo chamber of torment, rituals, and warped time. As you wander its haunted halls, past events bleed into the present, revealing fractured memories and ancestral secrets. The house itself feels alive, shifting with the weight of its sins. There's no combat, just exploration, dread, and layers of storytelling so thick you'll question what's real and what's the curse.
Sofren, gritan, callan, matan. Animas.
Grotesque, brutal, and absolutely relentless. Isle drags you through a crumbling fortress where physics-based horror meets savage survival. Created by Team Clout and published by Mundfish, this first-person nightmare unleashes monstrous mutations and mutilated creatures that react to your every move. Guns can blow limbs off, but not all of them stay down. Environments are destructible, your decisions matter, and your nerves will be tested as Hitchcockian pacing turns every hallway into a death trap. Think Half-Life 2 meets The Thing, with gore-soaked realism and monster design straight from your darkest dreams.